We got a good crowd today, so we're going to get this puppy rolling. Oh, it's been a while. I'm really excited about having a dealer webinar again. It's been very busy on our end, lots of stuff happening, and it is go time in hashtag BuySell Nation. Today we're going to cover lots of topics, so I'm going to be speeding through a number of them. And this is being recorded for posterity. So on the line with me today of relevance, beside all you participants that we really appreciate you, I've got Graham McMurtry, logistic guru for Eberhard Ag. Good morning, Graham.
Morning.
And I also have with me today Jameson Ag from North Battleford, Saskatchewan, Bregan Jameson.
Thanks, Dan, for having me.
So you bet. I'm really excited to have Bregan. And yeah, we'll be chatting a little bit throughout the call, but then we're going to get down to some nitty gritty, and Bregan's going to share all of his trade secrets with us. So I'm excited about that. As for the agenda, I guess this is maybe hidden by our video, but as usual, if you have any questions, text me at 573-2069, or actually everybody's unmuted, so technically if you'd like to interject, that's fine too, but if you want to ask a question, that's good. Why we're here? Well, we're trying to build a business together. We are working together to get BioSalt to customers. We, the distributor, and you guys, the dealers, and as evidenced by our dealer survey that we're going to be covering today, we always want your guys' input, sort of benign dictatorship, if you will, or something of a pseudo-democracy, if you will. So thanks for everybody that gave us input on that. Today we're going to be covering the dealer survey, a bit of a business update. We're going to cover a little bit of safety. We want to talk logistics. We've got some club route protocol, which I think is extremely important. And, of course, we'll be talking with Bregan Jameson a little bit more about how things going out in the northwest corner of Saskatchewan. So on the safety note, Graham, could you share with us, of course, my GIFs only work on the other screen. Can you share with us a little bit about this tarping with the semi-trailers at the Regina pad as a bit of a safety note here?
Yeah, I don't know if it's covered under safety, but anyway, the DOT stopped by the pad and basically said that the product that we're hauling, being a dangerous good, every tarp, you can't use mesh gravel tarps anymore. Some trucks were kind of loaded with mesh gravel tarps. We didn't have a lot of them in the fleet, but tarps have to cover, they have to be fully covered, the trailer. So it has to be over one side, over the other side. There can't be anything showing on the two fronts. So I guess some of the tarps, they left like a foot gap between where the tarp and the end of the trailer were, and they just did not like the wind swirling and product coming out. Maybe it's to save windshields or sulfur flying out. I'm not exactly sure on the whole idea behind it, but they came by and basically stopped or told Mike that you can't load any trucks unless tarps are fully covering all product. So any trucks that we really used, they got their tarps figured out. They got them to meet the guidelines or meet the specs that they needed. So we don't really have any issues there. But I don't know if I think it was more they didn't want sulfur flying out. So we got that handled though.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that
now the jets are working.
Safety tidbit here. Yeah, I just had to kind of move this around. Sorry, guys. Yep, I just want to move this over here. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Graham. On the pricing front, of course, our early order pricing is published on the website and in the dealer portal. We're rolling over from September and October. It's going to be $295 in Saskatchewan, $315 in Western Manitoba, and $325 in Eastern Manitoba. That's pretty self-explanatory. So today is the last day to grab that amazing early order price of $290 in Saskatchewan and $310 in Manitoba. And of course, our Biosol Nation payment terms, we want to update everybody on that. We're looking for a 40% initial down payment from customers and 30% prior to delivery, and then 30% as sort of an equalizing final payment when the product gets delivered. Or I guess we're looking at a timely situation here where a product needs to get out, 70% down for the product. And I guess where we're at with the business is we're just trying to reduce our risk because we have tremendous volumes going out to dealers and customers, especially this time of year. And so in terms of us being the bank, we want to reduce or minimize that as much as possible going forward, and we'll just continue working with you guys as the dealers going forward. But that's kind of where we're at on that. Of course, we have the FCC as a finance option. So now I believe if you finance a customer with Biosol and the spreading, we can actually put that out to, I believe it's February and March of 2020. And we also have Scotiabank for you guys, so that's going to be out to about the same time. So if you have any questions about those terms or any more interest in that, get a hold of the pertinent account manager and go from there. And of course, if you're looking for a cost breakdown relative to our competition, how that all works, that's on our website under compare ours to theirs, and we can provide you guys the actual Excel spreadsheet. I've been playing with this a lot on the sales trail with different customers, trying different rates, different prices to analyze, and still a pretty good tool. I know some of you in particular aren't crazy about it. We'd like to maybe simplify it and streamline it down. Maybe we'll get Graham to build an app in his spare time. Is that a thing, Graham? Can you build us an app?
I've looked into it. My app building skills are not up to par, but
or we can
I have shopped around, yeah.
Reagan, do you use this with your customers?
I do and I don't. I actually made my own. Kind of worked a little bit more simple. I found this one a little bit very confusing for a customer. If you just kind of show it to them, you really got to sit there with them and you got to give them a good 5 minutes just to explain it. And I find to meet with customers, I don't have 5 minutes. Most guys, not that I don't have, the customer doesn't have 5 minutes. They run off their feet most times. So I just made it more clear and simpler and streamlined it a bit better.
So is it just like a one-pager, or is it a spreadsheet, or what does it look like?
Yeah, it's a spreadsheet based on your input cost, but then I took it over 5 years. And then before I go to the farm or whoever I'm meeting with, I usually print off like a 2,000 acre farmer, 5,000 acre farmer, a 10,000 acre farmer, and the savings, and then have the savings calculator underneath for the total year. So as each year, it's going to cost you a lot the first, but then at year 2.5, based on relative sulfur prices, you break even. So we just moved it that way, and then that way I could leave that with them. It's designed for his farm, so it personalizes the visit, and then that way they're like, "Oh, this makes a lot of sense."
That's awesome, man. Can you share that with me?
I can, yes. You have to give me a bit.
Like
yeah, always.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, you
That's
betcha.
a great idea. And I know Lloyd's done some of that as well in terms of illustrating, hey, this is sort of the exact amount that you'd save for 5,000 acre farm, 10,000 acre farm, and that's really good because I find right now this time of year we're getting down to some real nitty gritty on pricing, and they're looking at different options. I mean, I'm finding right now guys are looking at fertilizer for next year. Is that what you're finding? Maybe you guys are a little bit delayed because of the harvest there, but.
No, most guys have bought or is in the process of buying. I know, like for nitrogen, big time. Our tanks will be getting filled here right away. We actually ordered, I think it was the end of August to get our pricing to where it was. But yeah, most guys around here are doing that. The fertilizer company, well, it's so easy right now. We don't even have to price shop. Like every retailer around us calls us the price for nitrogen, but that means it makes it a little harder for me because I gotta really start pushing sulfur. So I make a lot of phone calls and and then I got
earlier, eh? Huh?
I got Aberhart egg signs everywhere on the countryside. So the word's getting out, which has been great, and it's starting to snowball now. So it's been good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on because, you know, you've been really successful. You built a business from scratch. You're in some, you know, really adverse conditions right now, but you've been selling. And, yeah, it's really exciting to see what you're doing out there. So I want to get some of your secret sauce today, man. Just carrying on with our business update, the dealer portal will transport you to a magical wonderland. Well, I probably shouldn't oversell it here too much, but I do want you to go there. So you basically just go to Abrahart Ag Solutions. Very simple thing to do, and then you go to your dealer portal, and then you log in with the password of dealers, capital D. I'm not even going to spell it. It's too early in the morning. But there's a lot of great things in here, guys. All of our webinars, weekly webinars, payment terms, bio, soil analysis reports. So if anybody's asking about what's in the compost, how do we actually guarantee the analysis, that's physically in here. That's
we have some examples up there, but if you ever actually wanted the, like, say, give me a month or something, we could get that month too. So, and get you whatever report you wanted. They're all saved.
Yeah, we can't necessarily drill down to the actual load, but we can get pretty close. Because was it you, Regan, that had somebody with different colored piles that were sort of different compost and different aging and oxidizing and stuff, and they were curious about the analysis, or is it somebody else?
Yeah, no, it was, yeah. It came from two different sites and two different files. So we're concerned. Graham was very quick to react, which was awesome because the customer called me and Graham had both analysis sent, the dates, the loads, and explained it to him. And luckily the customer was abused, so that helps out too.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big deal. So anytime there's any issues like that, we need clarification, or they're asking about Club Root, Graham will talk more about that, but we're going to be testing Club Root at the site a lot more going forward, and we want to nip any objections like that right in the bud with actual documentation, and I think the objection is handled, in my opinion, in most cases. Just an announcement about new accounting and admin staff. So Allison's been with us for a while, but she's getting more into creating the sales orders and stuff like that and handling more details. She's just been excellent. So we're giving her some new duties. So appreciate Allison stepping up. And then we have somebody new in the finance department. Her name is Debbie Sherritt. Trista's moved on. She's went back to BDO. It's kind of worked better for her daycare situation and stuff. She was flex time on accounting for us and administration, and Karen has gone back to retirement. So we thank Trista and Karen for helping us for the time they did. But we've got a new team I'm really excited about. Debbie's just able to cut like a hot knife through butter with everything there. She's extremely capable. She'll be coming in a couple days a week, and Allison will be in the office all the time on the landline, so to speak, handling everything under the sun. And if you want to, the easy way to get a hold of anybody in that department is admin@abrahartagsolutions.ca. And for the most part, you know, the way we work at Bregan is if you're dealing with a customer on receivables or whatever, we try and work through you first, and then the account manager, and then if, you know, something really needs to get sorted out with tonnage or an invoice or something, then we might get, you know, Debbie or Allison involved. But we always like it if there's sort of the least amount of people involved as possible to avoid confusion. I think that's typically the way we've been doing it, eh?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. I gotta give a big thanks to Graham on that one. That was quick and reacted very quick, very fast. So that was good on the customer too.
Well, we have an amazing team, and it just seems to be really humming along. I'm really excited about all that, how that's going. So that's all been working really good. Another thing I'm really excited about is we've got some new people that are helping us with higher level strategic business advising, and they just have to block it down from our offices here in Brandon. Awesome team, Jeff Rosier and Kathy Snellgrove, and meeting with Kathy after this meeting, and they're just exceptional business advisors in terms of strategy and HR and budgeting and projections and contracts and everything under the sun. So we're going to see a lot of good business business-oriented changes coming from them, guiding our business as our business grows. Business has grown tremendously over the last 3 years, so we need all the help we can get. So I'm really excited about that. With that, I'll turn it over to Graham. Give us an update on what's happening with something that everybody's concerned about out in the countryside, Club Root. Graham, take it away.
Okay. So this was, I think, a couple weeks ago. Lloyd brought this to my attention. The Club Root is a pretty big issue in Saskatchewan now, and us being the way our business is built with field-to-field deliveries, we use trucks and custom applicators going to different customers. Our business is quite at risk, or at risk of liabilities, I guess. So some of the things that we're taking on ourselves to stop any spread of Club Root, or to ensure that we are taking as many steps to prevent it as we can, is our pad in Regina is made of is a dirt pad. So it's susceptible to Club Root, I guess. We are soil testing the pad. Some samples were taken last week, and they're sent off to Calgary to make sure that we know that our pad is Club Root free. And then the way I'm doing a couple different things too is scheduling trucks to customers. So I'm going to try my very best not to send the same truck in the same day to different fields. So if he drops something off in North Battleford, he's not going to come down to grab a load and take it to Ituna or something like that. It's just one of the better ways to, hopefully we can just do one truck does the delivery, they wash thoroughly, and that kind of just mitigates moving soil 400 kilometers or however far between deliveries. We have a protocol at the pad. We're bleaching every truck that comes in, all the tires and anything basically that would ever touch the ground. So we have a bleach solution that's like 10 to 15% bleach. Every truck comes in, sprays down. We have a sheet that they sign off that they did it. So if you ever have a customer ever asks, or you want to know, I have access to every one of these sheets. So the PO's on it, the load number, the time that they did it, and I can get you that documentation if an objection or someone ever asks you. As for really filthy trucks, like we had one yesterday, they just went to the wash bay. I mean, we chucked around the idea of every truck going to a wash bay and fully washing down, but it takes about 2 hours to do that. It's a lot of time, and I personally think unless they're getting really filthy and they're spinning tires and getting really muddy, spraying down, bleaching is going to be the way to go. As for the trusted applicator sanitation protocol, I believe Dan and Bob have talked to most of their dealers, and it's just basically the protocol that the Canola Council of Canada put out, that you need to go in between field to field. It used to be most guys would wash down if they're dirty, but I think now it's a full go scrub down, wash down of equipment when you're moving from customer to customer. I don't know if it's field to field for customers, unless you knew that they had Club Root or something, but definitely between customers is what they want to do. So answering questions to customers, I guess, is just, now you know what we're doing at the pad. You guys know what you're doing. Just let them know if they have any kind of if they're worried about it. You at least know that we are taking preventative steps as Eberhard Ag. We're not just telling you guys that you need to do it and we don't do anything. So we're trying to at least handle the risk of moving soil. And then in the dealer portal, as Dan touched before, we have some PDFs and some best practices for combating Club Root that the Canola Council has come up with.
Where are you as an applicator and a salesperson, but also on this brigging? What have you been experiencing?
Oh, it's a big game changer right now. Like the Club Root from last year to this year is 100%. Most farmers are very aggressive on taking action, making sure it's clean. So yeah, I'm full wash, full bleach between farm to farm. I am not between field to field though. So unless the farm asks, because if they don't do it, it's most guys are okay with me just going from field to field. But yeah, it is a full wash, full bleach, and keeping equipment as clean as possible, which is very tough to do up here in the Northwest right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we get wet, I think it really complicates everything. But good on you for doing that, and hopefully that helps. So I guess going forward, you'll be able to tell your customers we're testing the pad on a regular basis as being club root free. We're testing the product as being club root free, and should it come up, I guess we'll take appropriate measures. But hopefully that helps, that you can say that and provide that documentation. Is that going to be helpful to you? Do you have any other suggestions for us at this time, Regan?
No, that's huge, actually. I did not know that you guys implemented this that quick. I know I talked to Lloyd a couple weeks back about that because it is a big concern. The only thing I could ask is put that out there, like Twitter, social media, anything to get guys talking, because I know there's a lot of guys thinking, they joke about Biosol being the club root spreader across the country, right? But I have to argue that pretty fast and be like, no, that's not. This is why. And then it's just the guys that are complaining all the time. But I just think that, yeah.
Kudos to Lloyd for spearheading this initiative and recognizing the risk. And yeah, we've got a great reception from GFL on it. They're 100% behind it. And we want to be able to position ourselves as some people in the industry that did something about it, you know, in the early days, right from the beginning, because I don't think everybody's completely up on this. And I mean, I don't know what the NH3 guys are doing and stuff, but everybody's going to have to get there in a long enough timeline. So we're hitting it hard right now. So hopefully that helps. So, and Graham, just continue to give us a little bit of a logistics update here.
Sure. So the weather's been interesting here. We're still shipping product, but I guess everyone's basically just dialed into the weather network, watching or whatever weather app you use, seeing when you can take, when their fields are dry or when another rain's coming, which is usually every second night. We have lots of trucks available. The one thing I do ask is, if you can get product in place prior to being there to spread, as opposed to me feeding your spreader, it's stuff's going to happen here this fall with the amount of volume we're moving out. So if we can put product in place, let me know a day or two ahead, and I promise I will get it there. As for the calls late at night that say I need product there at 10 a.m., I might be able to, I might not, just depending on where it is and what I had scheduled the night before. But I personally feel we're in a pretty good place. We got lots of trucks, lots of good guys, get a lot of stuff done. But it's gonna get wild here in the fall. So the earlier you know, the earlier you can put product in place, where you know where you're gonna be. Let me know, and I will get it there for you as quick as I can, as opposed to the just-in-time spreading inventory gets a little bit tougher to manage. But I plan on having pretty high success rate.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, I said I plan to keep a pretty high success rate, so just let me know what you need.
I know you do. Yeah, I know you got this, but Regan, you've invested in the pad, and how has logistics been working for you?
It's been good. Been a bit of a struggle, growing pains. Weather has been just horrendous up here. Like, we sat for 21 days here with wet, so trucks coming into the yard with plow, so my pad is getting destroyed faster than I can fix it, kind of thing. But working good. I got a couple drop spots that aren't working out the best for me right now, just because we've had 2.5 inches of rain in 2 weeks, 6 inches of snow. So I'm hoping the weather smartens up, but it doesn't look promising right now.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your decision to have a pad there and tender out of a central location versus going straight to a customer's field?
Oh, 10 times better. Like I need the stress load off of me trying to make sure there's enough product there because you order 40 ton and it goes up to 39 ton. The guy wants 400 acre spread and you spread 390. Like that's just, you don't want a short product per acre, but, the fact of just having me in control of complete logistics and leaving no guessing game and even filling the spreader. Like last year I did the drop point loaded with the tractor and it was a logistical nightmare, rate nightmare. It just didn't flow properly in the spreader. You're continuously checking your rates and that, which was it was doable. It was just a lot more work. But now this year I could set my rates and am gone with cruising fast, doing the 220 pounds an acre, and it flows good, flows better, and I'm in control of timing trucks, when to fill, when not to fill, all that stuff. So. And you know what the nicest part is more customers do it. They're like, oh, you know what? You might as well do this field too, right? So you kind of pick up little odds and ends that way. Where before, like it was physically impossible to be like, sorry, I don't have any more product right here for you, but I can figure something out.
Awesome. Good. That's really interesting to hear. I think a lot of guys are either there or they're looking at making the leap. So I think what we'll do here, in the interest of time, is you and I will chat Bregan a little bit as we go through these survey results, which are pretty interesting. It'll probably bring up a few topics, and then we can maybe just find out a little bit more about what you've been doing to be successful in BioSol Nation. But thanks to everybody who filled out our survey that we sent out. We had 21 people do the survey, which is awesome. It's almost half our dealer network, and I want to give away $100 to somebody to go to the keg. We're gonna have a little draw here, so I'm gonna close my eyes. I got everybody's names here. I took and put them all on sticky notes this morning, so I'm gonna open this up, and the lucky winner today is gonna be Broden Luke. Yeah, thanks for Broden Luke. Thanks for playing along with us and providing that feedback, and everybody that participated. So this is actually a really cool tool. I love this SurveyMonkey. So it's kind of interesting looking at how long people have been selling BioSol. 20% were brand new this fall. 30% roughly been doing it for a year, 30% for 2 years, and about 15% for 3 years. You've got nobody who's been selling it for 4 years. So one of the big things we've been talking about is when is the cycle going to come around? You know, when are people going to start reapplying? We're going to crack probably 1 million acres of BioSol spread and sold in Saskatchewan and Manitoba this fall, and we haven't had a repeat customer. And by that I mean we've had new customers, and we've had those customers coming back next year to do more of their farm. But to my knowledge, we haven't had anybody in Saskatchewan and Manitoba reapply their acres. So I'm thinking when that whole cycle starts again in 2020, that's where our investments really start to multiply. And if you look at, say, 1 million acres supplied, it's probably a customer base of 2 to 3 times that, just given how many people have done their acres. Have you kind of thought about that for your business, Bregan?
Yeah, it's going to be a different mindset. I'm trying to make sure I got my data collection properly done, because a lot of farmers are like, I can't remember if I spread that this year or that this year. Like, you got to be thinking 5 years ahead and be able to call 4 years ahead just to remind them on what acres were done, all that stuff. So that's going to be a good thing. To the point of how much new customers you need based on what you have to respread. So it's going to be a good time management tool.
Yeah, so when you get the pipeline full and you're in the kind of the heart of the second cycle, I wonder how big are you thinking your business would be?
It's pretty big. It can be very big. Like, that's the exciting part and scary part at the same time. Like, it could be multiple spreaders, multiple guys. Could be a logistics issue. I could be a Graham just trying to organize trucks and get that figured out, which is exciting, but it's a little nerve-wracking at the same time, considering I'm still farming quite a bit of land too. So got to make sure we can get both jobs done.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to ask you is how do you manage 3 different businesses? I mean, is that really accurate? I mean, you say farming and your Farmers Business Network, or cow manager, and then you've got the biosol business. How do you manage your 3 businesses?
It's full of chaos right now. And there's no way you can do it properly. It's just impossible. So I know one good, one suffers a little bit. Luckily, like the biosol is me and my brothers. I got 2 brothers. We also farm together, which is huge. So when one's busy, the other can help out a little bit off some of the nightmare. I wouldn't say nightmare, just get that going.
Some days.
Yeah. But it's been, I know one business struggles when one succeeds kind of thing, but I don't know, this year I really focused on everything seasonal, I find too. So when you're at seeding time, farmers don't want to talk to you, whether with Farmers Business Network or if I'm with biosol. Like they don't talk. So I can put 100% focus on the farm. When I go off season, whether I'm spraying or doing anything like that, you can make a lot of phone calls from a cab of a tractor, sprayer, or just driving around meeting up for guys. And then how we're doing so successful with the farm too is both brothers are also selling as much as I can. So we run a mobile seed cleaner all winter too that puts out a lot of stuff for us, and we get into more farmyards that way too, just to options. So that's another help. I don't run that. That's my other brother. He's spearheads that one. But that way we get into more yards, talk to more people.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things that I see is because of the seasonality of the sales cycle and the spreading cycle, biocycle, the biosol, you can fit it in. And I mean, throughout the year you're teeing things up, but I mean, there's certain times guys are buying fertilizer like now, and that's the time to strike. This is one of the things I was looking at as a metric. How many commission resellers do we have, and how many wholesale retailers that we have? It's interesting that only one person said they were like a hardcore wholesale reseller where you're buying product and reselling it. But you've been doing a little bit of both, hey, Brigham?
Sorry, I missed that.
You've been doing a little bit of as a commission reseller and as a wholesaler, right?
Yes. Yeah. Just kind of got into it this spring, and then it was going good. Yeah, it's puts a little extra weight on the shoulders, but it kind of is definitely more rewarding.
Puts a little more money in the pocket too, I guess, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
So in terms of who's invested in the spreading business, we had 42% of respondents said yes, 19% said no, and 40% said I work with a third-party applicator, and that's a really big deal because really, being able to follow through and provide that service, either at the end of the day, you either have to have your own equipment or you have to have a strong relationship with a third party who's willing to be there in a timely fashion. And we have a whole bunch of interesting relationships throughout the network where somebody's just selling and somebody else is providing the spreading service, and I think it's working pretty good. But I think when you're dealing with customers, you have to be able to say, yeah, we're going to be there this fall, and they got to trust you on that. So that's kind of interesting. And then who is interested in the split? Are you tendering from a central pad and have storage capability? 45% of the respondents said yes. 5%, one person said they're not right now but planning to in the future. And 30% said not right now, no plans to in the future. So we still have a good number of guys that are using the guerrilla tactic of sending product directly to the field. And if that's working for them and their customer base, that's all good. It's certainly a little bit of a challenge for us, getting it from the pad sometimes in a timely fashion. I think it's a function of the business growing. For example, one person here said we would if we could build a business to where we make dollars and cents. And I mean, we've always encouraged people to to make money as they grow it and invest, and maybe one day you'll have a really beautifully drained asphalt pad, Breeden. It's just a matter of evolution. We talked about the club route thing. 30% have a plan. 42% are waiting and seeing. And there's one person who shoots and shovels and shuts up. It's kind of an old mad cow term. But overall, we are going in this direction. So a lot of people are cleaning equipment between growers and working with customers to ensure we meet their biosecurity plans. Not a problem in our area yet. I think I don't know. I mean, I think it's a problem everywhere. It's everywhere. It's just to the degree that people are sharing that they have it or finding it. I mean, we have it in southeastern Manitoba now. So that's sort of on the opposite side of Alberta. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, like, our farmers in our area are actually big promoters of trying to do the right thing on this. We actually went right up to council on our RM council, and they actually implemented a bylaw. So they do have a bylaw in our RM, and there's not a lot of them, but if you do have it and it's tested positive, you have to inform all adjacent landowners or anyone that comes on to do services on your land or off. I think rather than what happened in Alberta, where it seemed like they kind of put it under the rug, we definitely need to get in front of it this way, because this is something that it's inevitable. I think everyone is going to get it the way it's moving, and potentially water, winds, animals, you name it, it's going to be there. It's just how you're managing crop rotation, all that stuff. It's not like you're a bad farmer if you get it, because you could bring it in on a SAS power truck or a SAS tel truck. I think guys are scared that if they get it, they're going to be targeted as a bad farmer. It's just the right thing. That's where I want to get more people aware of it, because it's not something you can prevent. It's inevitable. We are going to get it.
Hey, Dano, it's
that's a great point.
Can I chime in a little bit?
I would love it. Yeah, go ahead, Elston.
All right, there's on the issue of produce, there's another opportunity for you guys, and that is, I don't know that it's inevitable, but we can certainly delay it for a long, long time. And there's some really simple strategies to do that. Number one, grow club root resistant varieties in areas of club root. That's number one. Canola Council finally fessed up to that. Number two, we can line the entrances, low spots, and any transmission lines, whether it's a pipeline or electrical or even a wildlife thing. And so there's some business there. And the reason you want to do that is because when pHs are over 7, the club root organism has a really hard time to get established and to live. So if we want to be proactive on the club root side, grow club root resistant varieties, line entrances, low spots, and transmission lines, and we can delay the inevitable for a long, long, long time.
Okay, so your audio is really quiet there, Elston. We got a little bit of background noise. Anybody who's on the call that's not speaking, can you please mute your phones? That would help the quality of the call. But you said use lime. You said lime?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said lime.
Elston? Okay. That's interesting. I'd never heard that before. Did you hear that before, Breeden? Is that something that's common knowledge out there?
I didn't know. Well, I knew lime was something to do with pH, and pH is a huge thing that affects the growth spread of club root. That's all I knew, but that was very interesting on that. I like that a lot.
Well, we should follow up on that. Yeah. That's huge. We should. We're gonna follow that up, because maybe there's different things we can implement at the pad or whatever.
Yeah, the liming issue or that comment is already in the Canola Council guidelines. It talks a little bit about high pH, just like Alston did.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Elton. Okay, we're getting a little bit of background noise, so if anybody's not speaking, can mute their phone. That would be lovely. How is the suggested retail price of the custom application of biosalt at $12 working for you? Overall, I think the consensus is it's working pretty good. So some of the responses here, I guess you have to look at it from, a lot of guys are looking at it from an all-in price. You guys can lower the price if you want. I mean, we don't want guys going out and sort of undercutting each other or chewing into each other's businesses, but it's sort of a individual choice. It's your business on the spreading side. And lots of people have been quoting all-in prices. What's your take on this, Regan?
$12 is good. It depends on what you're doing. If you're having Aberhart egg drop product in the field, the farmer's loading it in your spreader, I mean, yeah, you got to definitely give a discount. But if you're in a truck, a live bottom trailer, conveyor, tractor, spreader, plus you're going back to do tissue samples, getting the tissue samples, proving it to resell it. I mean, there's a lot of extra costs that you don't see and a lot of fuel getting burnt on more equipment on the road that I think at the end of the day, you need to make a good profit, whether it's 10 or $12 an acre. I think it's not unreasonable if you're going to go out and do this tissue samples and get all the equipment necessary to do a larger scale spreading operation.
I love that. And one of the things that I've been hearing out there is that typically custom operators out there may charge $9 for urea, for example, but then they have a by the mile charge for the tendering. And maybe that's something that would be fair for everybody involved, right?
Yeah, most guys around here, it depends on where you're going. I heard $6.50 up to $8, some $9. I find that pretty impressively high considering most guys are getting tendered by the fertilizer retailer as well. So floaters, they're pretty high maintenance in comparison to a spin spreader.
Yep. So another question that we asked, just moving along here because there's a bunch of questions and we're going to run out of time here, but would you describe your business as enthusiastically growing? That was 20% of the candidates. Growing but with challenges, I feel like we're in that category too, 52%. Staying about the same, 20%, and circling the drain, there was 2. So yeah, some people have really excelled at the business. Some people are trying to grow the business but having challenges. Some people are status quo, and some people are just not. I mean, this is just life and business and Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, and all that. I mean, our challenge is how do we get everybody being really successful. So when I asked how much biosol have you sold to date, 30% said 0 to 250 metric tons, 15% were 250 to 500, 500 to 1,000, and then 1,000 to 2,000 we had 20%. And then we had a couple people in that 2,000 to 4,000 and 4,000 to 8,000 ton range. So it's just kind of interesting to see metric tons to date where everybody's at. In terms of how much biosol planning to sell and apply this fall, kind of the same looking chart. You got those guys that are, looking to sell another 2,000 to 4,000. You got a couple of those guys on the higher end, and a lot of dealers are in that 250 to 500 and 0 to 250 range. So that's kind of interesting. Do you have any comments on that, Reagan?
Yeah, just going back to how's the business growing. It is challenging, I find, just to get guys. The club route thing is definitely my biggest challenge right now, and trying to hit that 2,000 metric ton is definitely tricky. But now that I find you got to really pick on the key guys. I have a bunch of key guys that are very agronomy smart, all that stuff, are doing it, and word's getting around pretty fast. So I find that I'll sell a guy too, and he'll actually call the guy that I previously worked for. How do you like it? So it's definitely based on referrals. But yeah, it's growing, but there's definitely some good challenges.
No, I appreciate that. And we find it throughout our network. There's 20% of the guys are doing 80% of the business. Probably in your business too, you've got your top 5 guys are doing, the lion's share of the business, and then it grows from there. So it's really servicing those guys and getting referrals from those guys. It's amazing how much people will help you if you just ask them, hey, who else do you think would like this product? I mean, Terry asked one of our customers, and he provided like 12 contacts in an email.
That's huge.
Your mind.
High quality supply this year.
30% said stellar, 35% said average. Nobody said poor. I feel like we're kind of over the hump with a lot of the issues that we've had. So that's good news. And when we did have issues, we always tried to handle it. I know, Brigham, you had some product quality issues, but try to handle them best we can. It's a young business, but the biggest obstacle to adding new customers, I think we're all aware of it at this point. 20% said upfront cost, 14% said education, 28% said getting people to change. I think that's a huge thing. Getting people to change, I think that's just a constant that we deal with, and it's just education, marketing, and getting in the door. Local agronomists opposed, that's a big one. We're trying to work with any agronomist that we can, whatever way we can. If you guys can help us and point out who we need to. Good example is Al Mitchell in the Yorkton area. You know, we're working on trying to do a trial with him, and we're getting some product on their, they have a charity field for the hospital in Landsberg. We're donating some biosol on that. Jeff Brown donating some spreading because sometimes without the permission or the blessing of these local agronomists, we just lose business. It's just a fact. So what's been working well? Tissue samples and farming, talking to farmers on too about the neighbors. We talked about that. The two things, referrals and the tissue samples, I think, have been a huge thing. And Bob and Lloyd have done a great job of going out and getting that whole tissue sampling thing going. I think, Regan, you're doing that for your customers as well.
Yeah, doing a lot. It's definitely what kind of pushes them over the top and kind of takes the weight off their shoulders. Like, oh, this is a good idea. But I'm also tissue sampling their product that they were originally using as well. So if I go out and do a side-by-side trial, I'll do biosol and whatever they were using and send them both saying, here's ours, here's yours. And they're quick to see either they're the same, or I've also seen where we've always been a little bit better, but we've never been worse. So they're like, oh, well, they're the same. I said, well, they're quick to forget the price difference. And I said, well, we're actually half the price relative to your product. And then their eyes just go real big and oh yeah, they kind of forget about that. So it's definitely a good option to do that. It is expensive to do that, but in the early stages and growing, got to spend it to make it.
Well, that's another touch point with your customer, and you're kind of putting yourself in that category of service provider and, you know, providing them with some agronomy. There's a lot of value in those tissue tests, just, you know, beyond the sulfur, that a lot of guys in our network that are providing other products are using. For example, you know, Daryl Carlisle on the team CLF to do a great job of showing you and illustrating where you might be able to enhance your fertility with other products. So that's a good tool. So thank you for saying support from the Aberhart Ag team. That means a lot to us. Guys love the product and not having to worry about sulfur once it spreads, the initial education, and getting them to change the challenge. Long-term affordability, testimonials. We're working hard to get more testimonials out there. We just sent out a sort of a referral or a one-page flyer to all of the colonies in Saskatchewan and Manitoba with a couple colony testimonials that are mind-blowing. I just got a call from a colony in Manitoba about that, so hopefully that raises awareness out there. Getting acre spread in our area and tissue testing crops. Grower meetings. Those are extremely powerful. And if we have an opportunity to come out and speak to 5 people at the kitchen table or 50 people at the town hall where we buy lunch and give out a bunch of barbecue sauce, we will rock and roll that this fall. I just had a meeting in Clarny with 20 producers the other morning, and we sold a couple thousand acres at the meeting. And it's unbelievable. So the environmental aspect for some guys, telling their neighbors, aggressive marketing, having large trusted retailers on board, positive social media. So far, we haven't got caught in the wrong side of the shitstorm on social media, but I feel like we've come close a couple times. But so far, it's all been relatively positive. Loyal customers, deliveries, word of mouth, demos, that's a huge investment, but man, I think that speaks volumes. Yeah, personal experience. Yeah, and using the fact that we use biosol on the farm, I would almost guess that's Erickson's, who've just done a tremendous amount of physically driving around and doing demos. So if it's not, and more people are doing that, that's great, but I just want to give a shout out to Erickson's on social media and the demoing, like unbelievable. Have you done any trials or demos for your customers at all? Or have you, like, is that a thing that's been working for you, Bragan, or not really?
No, I haven't done any kind of demos. Most guys, well, I did do a demo originally before I even met you, as when I demoed, and I brought every key producer that was in the area. So that was a huge selling. Trusted applicator came down, which was Crop Max and Justin Kelly. So he came down too for it, and it just got more awareness. So that was the original one. That was 2 years ago already, and the guys that were there are still talking about it, haven't ordered, but are still doing it. We just haven't had good falls and long, beautiful harvest. So it's been
great.
That's the tricky part for some of the big guys too.
You're not going to have any time to do any demoing this fall.
Whatever. We'll see. November's going to be a good Indian summer coming up.
It's going to come. We don't know. Yeah, so obviously what's been a challenge is the weather.
Other retails?
Working against other retails is
around Yorkton on the product?
Lots of negativity around the product around Yorkton. People don't trust the product, so that kind of goes back to getting people to change. First impression of the product, I don't know. I like the smell, but maybe not everybody does. You need to educate producers, organizing farmers. People don't believe in banks and are still skeptical of power shift transmissions. Okay. Whoa, where is that geographically? I'd like to go drink beer with those guys. The industry bashing biosol, well, yeah. I mean, kind of tells you they're afraid of us. Well, the old elemental doesn't break down. Coke Rep said that tissue tests don't tell the story. Time management, see all the prospects.
Two of them that get the bus at 5%.
I think we're familiar with it. We're getting a little bit of background noise from people that aren't speaking on the call. Can you please mute your phone?
They're home at 2:30.
Oh.
That's how kids are getting in so much trouble.
Of course, 2:30 to 8.
Cover a parent's back, like 5:30.
So what is the one feature that would help you sell the product? 3-year product that's come up. 4-year payment plan, guys, we're working really hard on this. I'm not sure if it's physically doable, but we've got GFL behind it, and we're working on some really good leads to make that possible. I know we've been saying that for a long time, but I mean, that's no small endeavor. So we're going to try and work on that. I'm kind of wondering if like some sort of interest-free program would help spur some sales this fall, just for cash flow and stuff like that. Like, do you like? I'm just talking out loud here. I've been kind of thought about it the last couple of days, but like, if you guys could finance Regan for a couple of months at interest-free here, like through FCC or Scotiabank through us, would that be a trigger for your guys right now, given cash flow, or?
Yes and no. It's tough right now. I believe we got a pretty good crop there, so guys are going to be okay that way, but it's just a matter if they get it off. I think I'm not going after the big home run with guys too, so I kind of not dumb it down, but I try and back it off a little bit rather than going after the full 100% of the farm, do a 20% or 25% or even a third. That way the cash flow can be easier, and then that way they can manage their. So I think most guys can manage it that way. It's not really the financial side of things that affect it. The biggest worry is honestly land rent fees based on the 5-year rent or 5 year of the product. So they're a little concerned. They want to make sure they target their own land versus rented land, because it is pretty cutthroat business up here. Make sure it's everywhere where land can disappear pretty quick.
Yeah, no, and I like that thing where you show the 2.5 year return. Hopefully that helps some of the guys that might have a 3 year term on rented land come around. But we are talking to more guys about lower rates, going at 140 to get 100 pounds actual down. Have you worked with that with any guys, Bregan? Have you talked to anybody about that?
I haven't actually. I've been going the full 220 for the 5 year term or 4 year term. A lot of guys, once I show them my sheet, they're thinking like, okay, I might have to reapply in 4 years, and they're not upset at all. Like we're planning for a 5 year, but they're like 4 years, but through my sheet, they're like 2.5 years. To go back and do a half rate, logistically, I wouldn't be able to spread for $12, I don't think. So that's one thing that would be of a concern, just because you're there more, you're definitely doing a lot more acres a day, potentially. So you'd have to, I haven't figured out the finances on that. I haven't had anyone ask for a half rate, so I haven't even talked about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and as soon as you start going every 3 years, that application cost starts to really climb in a cost per pound scenario I found when I was doing my analysis. So it's still really cost efficient to put more down for a longer period if you can cash flow it.
And yeah, definitely target.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Target the 20% or 25 or a third of the farm. I've had only one guy say, yeah, do my whole farm, which was great. Other guys did 50%, and other guys are doing 30%. So that way it's kind of nice to plan my strategy year to year, which has been really good that way. So, yeah, that's kind of how we've been building the business, me and my brother. So we've been just focusing on that.
Talking about dreams coming true, you had one 11,000 acre farmer do his whole farm. That's a beauty. That's
that was definitely kudos to Elston on that one too.
Oh yeah.
Elston and Lloyd actually were there this winter, and I invited the farmer, and he definitely got the wheel spinning. And then it was awesome because most of the sulfur in my area was an absolute garbage this year, and they were plugging manifolds left, right, and center. So it was the farmers are quick to forget, and I'm guilty of that too as a farmer. But if you keep reminding like how bad the spring was and all that, they kind of get on board and be like, yeah, that was really bad. And now you just don't worry about sulfur. So that was quick, and farmers said it's all or nothing, Dragon. So I said, well, let me know, think about it, and it was a pretty exciting text message I got from him when he said, yeah, we're doing the whole farm. Hey, right on. So
that was unbelievable. That's huge.
But quick to remind them of the problems that they're having, because everyone was having problems. I don't care what you said in my area. So
awesome. Well, Alston's still the best salesperson that we got, so God bless him. He's helped build this business for sure. Do you have any suggestions for product combinations in the future? Lime, P&K, crystal green thing. We love what Taurus is doing on a number of products, and I just actually saw Craig again yesterday, and we spent some time just talking about ways we can work together to bring different products to the market. So maybe we'll have like a nitrogen management thing, or maybe the crystal greens to fit long term. We'll see. So are you getting pushback on price? 23% said yes. 52% said no. 23% said other. We'll take a look at their responses here. It's just the upfront cost, yeah, and rented land. So I think we're all aware of that.
Sorry, just saying.
You get feedback.
I just got to jump and grab my computer plug-in, so I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah, not a problem. Let's keep rolling here. What about the strategy of publishing our prices? 86% said yes, so it's pretty overwhelming response, positive. But there's also some concerns that we share with you guys. seems to be working. It says that it does not work because the incentive is small and the other fertilizer prices are going up faster than this product. It makes financial sense to lock in your NP and K price first and then biosol last because they're going up more than $5 a ton. And I guess in some senses we don't mind, and we don't mind. The dealer network shouldn't mind if the price, if guys don't buy until later, because obviously they're going to get more money. That's part of the strategy. The price isn't the hang up. $5 a month is not a big price savings. This is one of the big problems that we've heard. Competitors just match and tell the customer biosol's garbage off. Yeah. But this is something that we're going to try and figure out. Are we going to do this again in December for the spring? I mean, I just talked to a guy who, they're pricing nitrogen, and it's like, you got this price for an hour. If you don't take it, then you're out. And then the guy calls back a week later, and it's $100 more. I mean, it's kind of traumatic. It's a game. It's like selling your grain. You don't know if it's going to be better or worse, if you made the right decision. I mean, I'm kind of still selling this as an advantage to customers, and I talked to a customer the other day that said they love it, but I don't know if we'll keep doing this forever and a day. Bregan, would you want to be able to price this yourself next fall, or would you just rather have the prices but have us not publish it? Like, I know you publish the prices on your Twitter, but what do you think?
I love seeing the prices because transparency is key going into agriculture right now, and the more transparency, the better it is for farmers. They feel like they can trust you. I need the price out front. Guys are excited about it. Whether they make the choice or not make the choice, they can sit on the tractor and seed in time, and they can run the numbers if they order today versus July versus September, run the numbers in their head. I find it's just better to have price out front. That goes back even to FDN too. They're trying to publish every price there is possible out there too, right? So guys are just able to manage their farm a little bit better with finances, because getting pretty thin out there with land prices and equipment prices. It's getting pretty stressful.
Well, it's really interesting because a lot of producers now will research a thing a lot before they go to buy it. And part of me wonders, well, if we didn't publish the prices, would they call us to get the prices? But this is a world where you can find out anything online. And I think they want that before they call. So it'll be a subject of debate like it always is, but we'll see what we're going to do going forward here. So when we talked about this, when will your customers start to reapply their acres? We got 20% in 2019, 13% in 2020, 20% in 2021, and 46% in 2022. The comments were, "Art is too new." Yeah, a lot of guys are still new. I was kind of wondering what the manufacturer is wondering, so we could try and set targets here. What percentage of your customer base's acres have been applied? 31 said 25% or less. 10% said 50%. So with all the acres that we've done, it's still a relatively low amount of acres that we've done of the customer base, which, I don't want to get too excited, but man, I'm just thinking, if we do 1 million acres here in our third, fourth year, what's the value of all those customers and all their acres? Like, it's just bloody mind-blowing. Like, this thing is maybe bigger than we think, but then I tell myself, don't get too excited, Dan. So I think it's half and half with guys who are going to apply after 4 years or 5 years. Not many guys after 6 years. I think that's fair. I think it depends a little bit where you hit your rotation. I think maybe doing a third canola crop on the first application of biosol is a little bit aggressive. But and then this is really about retention. How many of your existing customers do you expect to reapply their acres a second time? 25% of the customer base. 5% said 25% of their customer base. 15% said 50%. 21% said 75%. So did we have any responses on this? I mean, I'm wondering, it will be really interesting to see how many of our guys stay with it for the second round. Like, have you lost any customers yet, Bregan, for any reason?
Hard to say. I only I only spread for a bunch last year, so I got quite a few guys that haven't ordered yet that are existing. But being the way harvest is going up here, like guys are only at 20% complete up here, so I think they got other stresses on their mind before they're worrying about ordering and spreading. So I'm hoping it comes good.
Right. Okay, so some of the reasons guys maybe didn't stay with the program, the agronomist convinced them the product didn't release enough on time. Haven't lost one yet. Customer decided to go back to ammonium sulfate without a reason. It's my view that you got to keep selling it. You got to stay in touch with the customer. Otherwise, they might go into their local retailer 20 times in a year or 50 times in a year every week. And every time they'll be hammered on, hey, you're going to take some ammonium sulfate or tag or whatever. Like, you got to stay in touch enough that they stay with the program. And I think the other part of that is the tissue testing. And keeping track of the fields that you applied for them is a huge deal. Because if you take all that off their hands, you make it so easy. I would say they just keep going, hey? So as far as what people wish they had that they don't have, more data is always a concern, more customers using it, more time to do it. They want my credit card, which would be surprising, disappointment for them if they knew how little limits left on it. Graham's charm. Graham's very charming, apparently. Boom. Date of booked price should be the final price. I don't know if I understand that, but date of booked price should be the final price. A clone, 5 years of data, long-term financing options. So that's all stuff that we're working on. That's great feedback. Would you be interested in coming to another Trusted Applicator Summit? Well, Bregan, you be there. You'll be there. This was an interesting comment here. Kind of hurt a little bit, but we want to get more agronomy in there. And the next one, maybe the last summit wasn't as informative as they would have hoped. But generally positive reviews on that. There's only 3 people that said no, and maybe it's a date or something, or maybe. And then, of course, we had 30%. We had a third of the people watching the webinars. A third of people hadn't. Obviously, it's a time thing now and then. So the recordings hopefully will be useful. This webinar, of course, went extremely long, but I feel like we got some really good conversation in. Have you been on the dealer portal for information? Do you use the dealer portal for your business, Bregan?
I have been a little bit, but I actually I go on there for my own informative business. But when I go to a customer, I know guys don't really go on the internet to research things too much. Some do, definitely. But usually I'm handing them enough information that they feel confident in the decisions that they're making. So I definitely recommend going there. I'm not sure if you can see who's actively on your website or not, if you can get surveys like that. But I definitely changed my strategy focus, meaning just based on the product and based on what we're doing on our farm. So we're using it, our stuff, how we're using it. I think that speaks pretty loud when we're not selling something that we're not doing. So works out better.
Right. Yeah, that's a big thing that's working is a lot of our guys are using it on their farm. Of course, the riders are the clear choice here. 61% said the riders. I don't know if we had somebody said the Jets. I don't even know what we do with a response like that, I guess. But the Cowboys, somebody's into the Cowboys. Somebody said, I don't watch the inmate football league, I guess. So that was pretty blunt feedback there. So anyhow, as far as this webinar has gone, I found it really informative getting your feedback. Regan, I appreciate you coming on. We probably don't have lots of time to delve into anything else, but I just wanted to say that I am extremely proud of you. And one of the things that I enjoy most about this business, that I'm most thankful for, besides dealing with the customers, is dealing with guys like yourself that we're working with. Our business is growing, your business is growing, we're building a business together. And 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, who knows where you guys are going to be and who knows where we'll be. But that is absolutely the coolest thing. And there's a bunch of, guys in the network that single-handedly are moving the needle. and you're one of our top guys. We're going to just appreciate, the trust that you put in us and putting your neck on the line and going out there to your customer base and telling them about this new product, all the hard work. I can't imagine, going between, harvest and spreading and selling and everything else under the sun and raising a young family. I'm really proud of you, and I really appreciate the work that you've done, and I just wanted to have you on the webinar to get your feedback and just thank you a lot for being an awesome part of the Biosol Nation. So it's really cool. And so do you have any final comments here before we sign off to the Biosol Nation?
Use your fellow Biosol trusted applicator neighbors. I would never been able to do what I did without Justin Kelly and CropMax. He's been more. We're always talking continuously, usually getting customers or giving customers. So that's been good that way. And just know the right time to sell it to the guy. I mean, if they're stressed out, busy, yeah, you can do more damage by trying to push something. So that's what I find. And quick to remind guys of how bad the spring was and how you can fix their problems, which is always a bonus.
Absolutely.
I know, like, for us, we went to Biosol, and I thought I better touch on that because our price was at 38 cents a pound, so it was about $9.50 an acre for us at a 25-pound rate is what we were doing. I definitely became more sulfur aware, more educated, becoming a trusted applicator, talking to you, talking to Elston, talking to my fellow producers, trusted applicators. We were doing it wrong. We were definitely shorter sulfur, but going with this way with a 30-pound release, and anyone who says it doesn't release the first year, that's not even close. There's tons are releasing the first year. Tissue samples have shown it. We cut our cost exactly we increased our pounds per acre, and we're paying about $5.40. So it was a huge profit savings for us. So that's the mentality I stepped into the door with. I was paying high sulfur prices though, but I used the personal experience to go with the sale for our members and that. So that's where guys want to hear a friendly face, friendly reminder, and just the struggles that you're in it together with them. So we got to figure out our input costs in order to profit.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, hopefully it's helping guys be profitable out there as things get, challenging. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. We went a little bit long, but I feel like it was really good information. We're going to post a recording on the dealer portal as always. And thanks again, Bregan. Good luck out there getting the harvest off and getting your spreading done. And you're going to spread 25,000 acres, I guess, this fall in your business?
Yeah, it'll be close to that for sure. Yeah. So we'll, I got a couple thousand down so far, so we're going to keep plugging away in the mornings before the combines roll.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Bregan, and we'll sign off with that. Thanks, everybody, for attending. We had close to 20 people on the call today, so that's really good. That's good attendance, and it's almost half our dealer network. So, yeah, thanks, everybody who did the survey. Congratulations to Broden Luke. He's going to the keg, and let's sell some tons out there, guys. See you again.
Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Bregan. Appreciate it, man. Bye for now.